Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewers, with me I have today Syed Ali Abbas Rizvi, born in India, lived most of his life in Kuwait since childhood, and currently is in Kampala as the resident alim. He has studied for 18 years in and is currently pursuing his PhD in Islamic ethics. Welcome, Syed.
Thank you so much.
So, Syed, we want to talk a bit today about the youth and what does the Quran have to say about the youth?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all the viewers and to you and your team. It is a very interesting topic to understand that what Quran needs to tell the youth. And as we claim, preachers of Islam, we claim to say that Islam is a very comprehensive religion, and it not only addresses our spiritual needs, it also addresses our materialistic and worldly needs. So it's a very comprehensive set of teachings. Now when we say comprehensive, we are including everything, and there is nothing left out. Now if we want to be specific regarding the matters that are very much concerned with the youth today, the contemporary youth we are talking about, there can be many things that we can talk about. But once we want to ask Quran that this book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what does it hold for the youth today so that they may be guided? What role models, what ideals does Quran give us today? Now if we want to look deep into it, we have many examples, but one of the major most important, I would say, examples that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sets for the youth is the example of our Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, where we see in chapter Mumtahana, verse number 4, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَدْ كَانَتْ لَكُمْ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ فِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ. And there is a very good example for you in Ibrahim, in the life of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. You study his life, you understand what he was going through, you understand what he did. Now, Prophet Ibrahim had a very long life and full of challenges, full of going out there, fighting against the idol worshippers, the infidels, the mushrikeen, the kuffar. But what I want to talk about here, and which holds a very significant point for the youth today, is how Prophet Ibrahim started his journey, his battle against the infidels in those days, and the hypocrites and the idol worshippers. Now, Quran interestingly mentions even the age, that specific era, and refers Prophet Ibrahim to be fatan, like how we have we hear on Mimbar, usually related to Amir al-Mu'mineen, La fata illa Ali, la sayf illa dhul fiqar, that there is no youth, there is no a young man but Ali ibn Abi Talib, and then there is no dhul fiqar but the sword of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Now Quran refers Prophet Ibrahim to be fata. How? I would like to quote a few ayats.
Yes.
If you look at chapter Anbiya, starting from verse 51, it's very interesting. I would like to take a few minutes here for the audience to go through these ayats, at least the translation. It's very interesting. Because that is why I quoted this verse from chapter Mumtahana, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, indeed in Ibrahim you have a best example.
Right.
So we need to understand what Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was doing all through his life. Now وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا, this is again chapter Al-Anbiya, verse 51. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ رُشْدَهُ. Now we have given this rushd, this maturity. There are different translations, maturity or guidance, or that specific age where he is embarking on his journey of tabligh. min qabl wa kunna bihi alimin. and we were aware of what Ibrahim والسلام, is إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ. Now, first and very important chapter, important lesson that we learn from the life of Prophet Ibrahim, that as soon as he reached that level where he was ready to go out and preach, he started from where? This is for our youth. This is for all of us, in fact. But, because today we are talking about the young generation. Now, where do we start doing tabligh from? لِأَبِيهِ. Quran says when he starts, وَإِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ وَقَوْمِهِ. First, he's referring to his own uncle or guardian or supervisor, whoever. It was not his father. It is very clear in the tafsir. His uncle. He's addressing his uncle who was an idol worshipper. And Prophet Ibrahim sees that he's doing the wrong thing. He's on the wrong path. And this is what is very important. Today, the youth needs to be confident that what I believe in, I am right in my belief. I have proofs for what I believe in and what faith I hold dear to my heart. And these days, this is again, I don't want to open this debate here. The youth is supposed to start this from their friends. This is what I want to address. I am not talking to the youth that they have to go out and address their fathers and mothers. No, the closest people nowadays, the youth, they have. So unfortunately today the youth, they are more attached to their friends, to their fathers or mothers or family members. That is why I'm telling them, I'm addressing them that if they want to start a change, they need to start with the people very dear to them. It's their friends. Your friends, they make you and they are the ones who corrupt you. Therefore, the message today that from this ayah we understand, and again, it is very interesting, that إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ وَقَوْمِهِ مَا هَذِهِ التَّمَاثِيلَ الَّتِي أَنْتُمْ لَهَا عَاكِفُونَ. What is this idols you're worshipping? So if Prophet Ibrahim, he went to his uncle who was very dear to him, who was the supervisor, who was the guardian, and who was actually taking care of Prophet Ibrahim. But Prophet Ibrahim did not hesitate for a moment to say that, no, he's my guardian, or he's, taking care of me. How can I go and, argue with him and tell him, you are worshipping idol and I have a better God. So he did not give a single thought regarding this, and he went straight away. And so this is what our youth need to understand, that you don't say that whatever friends you find out there, you don't go along. No, you cannot walk along with them. You cannot stand shoulder to shoulder with them if you people are having different ideologies. Now, I'm not saying that there is no tolerance. Absolutely, you have to be tolerant. You have to respect. We respect everybody for whatever they follow. But the major point here is to do tabligh, to spread the word and to at least know your friends that what you believe in. And this is the thing today, that our youth is going into an inferiority complex, right. And they are feeling shy. They hesitate to say that they are the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you two questions here. When you talked about rushd, you said it was a level of maturity. First and foremost, how would you get that level of maturity? Secondly, what if you ever go and tell a youth that Prophet Ibrahim did this, then he's probably going to tell you, but he was Ibrahim, he was guided. We are not guided, we don't know what to do. So how would you address these two questions? And
Okay, both the questions are very much relevant to our topic, and I would refer the first one. See, Quran again, it goes on and it continues, and itself, as I mentioned in my earlier statement, that Quran says that when Prophet Ibrahim went down and went to the temple, and he broke down all the idols and left the bigger one, they came and they asked, who did this? So Prophet Ibrahim, what argument did he place? This is again one important point, one important lesson that we have to learn from Prophet Ibrahim والسلام, that Prophet Ibrahim did not say, he did not bring up a huge philosophical argument, he did not go on explaining these people. Sometimes you have to be very simple and give them out the simplest way to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their creator. So, فَجَعَلَهُمْ جُذَاذًا إِلَّا كَبِيرًا لَهُمْ لَعَلَّهُمْ إِلَيْهِ يَرْجِعُونَ. So they made themselves think about themselves, that what are they doing? So now, قَالُوا سَمَعْنَا فَتًى. This is what your question was. The rushd, I told you before also, rushd, they have translated into different meanings: guidance, maturity, or that certain age. Now, some of the scholars, they say it's that certain age. Why they use this term? قَالُوا سَمِعْنَا فَتًى. These, when the leader asked that, قَالُوا مَنْ فَعَلَ هَذَا بِآلِهَتِنَا, who did this with our gods? So people, they said that, قَالُوا فَتًى, he was a young boy, he was a young man. And when you refer to these tafasir, to the history of Prophet Ibrahim, they say he was 16 years of age. So 16 years, you call up a boy today, 16 years, and you don't really expect him to do anything like this, go out in a temple and do such a thing. No? Now, I'm not saying that, you go out into a temple and do such a thing. But what is important is, the important lesson to learn here is that, so first thing, rushd is the age which is a very young age. So this rushd, which you mentioned, is translated into different meanings. One is guidance, as far as I have seen. One is being mature at the level of going out there. And one important meaning which many they translate into, and they take this meaning from the next verses, which is verse number 60, where Prophet Ibrahim goes and he breaks the idols and leaves the bigger one, and then they ask, who did this? So these people, they say, قَالُوا سَمَعْنَا فَتًى. They say that there was a young boy. سَمَعْنَا, قَالُوا سَمَعْنَا فَتًى. We heard that it was a young boy. يُقَالُ لَهُ Ibrahim. They call him Ibrahim. So now this rushd that we are talking about is it might be different in every age. But Prophet Ibrahim والسلام, at a very young age, 16 years, as they say in the tafasir, that he was almost 16 years of age when he started doing his tabligh, and he went on teaching people لأبيه ولقومه. So this is very important that we learn from the life of Prophet Ibrahim for the youth today. And you see, you have to connect the question that you asked, that he was a prophet. You might be saying that he was an infallible. Okay, he was guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was destined to do this, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was helping him. No, it's don't confuse yourself. This is a very common question whenever you talk about Sirat of Ahlul Bayt al-Salam, Sirat of the Holy Prophet or the prophets, any other prophet. People tend to respond in a way that they don't want to accept the responsibility, and they say, they were the Ma'soomeen, they were Ahlul Bayt, they were the prophets. It is as if they possessed special powers. We don't have such a thing in our narrations, in our reports which we have. In fact, contrary to this, very interestingly, we have to pay attention that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is providing us these instances and these stories for what? For putting our kids to sleep? Reading them these stories? No! These are stories that we need to understand, and we need to practice what they did in our lives. These are our models. Right. If they were not to be practiced, and if it was impossible to practice what they did and to imitate their seerah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have never asked us to understand their seerah, to read these stories. So it is very evident that these prophets were there for us. They were there to guide us, and their stories are being repeated in Quran and in different narrations for us to learn from them, to learn from their life, to learn from what they were doing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he was the best model for all of us. So Rasulullah said, "Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli." You pray in a manner that you have seen me praying. So if we go on saying that no, we cannot, we cannot imitate the actions of the Holy Prophet or the Ma'asum, then why were they telling us to imitate? Then why were they, telling us that okay, I'm doing this? Yes, there were there were examples and many. Some parts of Nahj al-Balagha, especially one, I remember that I don't exactly remember the name of the narrator, but there was one of the companions, and Imam Ali ﷺ responded to him and he said, "Walakin," if I'm not mistaken, he says, "Walakin la taqdiruna ala dhalik," but you cannot do what your Imam is doing. أعينوني بورع واجتهاد وسداد, but help me, with taqwa, with working hard in your life, So these are the things that we need to understand. Yes, we cannot be a ma'soom. Nobody is asking you to be a ma'soom, and nobody is asking you to be as perfect as they were. No, but we are at least, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala wants us to imitate in that manner. This is what I want to, I want my audience and the youth to understand today. That these masaib, these faza'il that we recite, these stories of Karbala about Ali Akbar alayhi salatu wasalam, about, I don't want to deviate from my topic, but I'm just giving you, so because you asked, all of these are role models for us. They are not merely there for us to just listen to their tragedy and their sacrifices and the story of the martyrdom and weep over it, and then forget it the moment you come out of your Imam Barga. Is it for that? No, not at all. You learn so many things from the life of Hazrat Ali Abbas Rizvi. Similarly, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala says, Fatan. He was a young man, 16 years old, and Ibrahim alayhi salatu went on a journey to guide people. So what I was trying to, my point, my conclusion for up till now is that we need to understand, our youth need to understand that there comes an age where you need to take mature decisions, and if you are, near to your 16, 18, teenagers, you're at the end of your teenage, you got to, get responsible, and you got to understand that what you need to do, and you have to understand. And if you don't know what you have to do, you come and read Quran. You see what examples Quran is giving you, what set of paradigms Quran is giving you for you to follow. This is very interesting. The story, the whole story of Prophet Ibrahim is very interesting for our youth to understand and to at the end of the day, I cannot convince you here in this short time and tell you that you need to connect yourself. No, you got to think. Tadabbur fil Quran. That is why you are asked to go study, ponder upon it, recite the ayah, get into the translation, think how does this ayah relate to you. And this Quran is linnas, hudan linnas. It's for the people, it's not saying for the Shias, for the Sunnis, for the Hindus, no, it's for everyone. It's for everyone to benefit from it, So I would like to, advise, and would like to strongly suggest the youth that, you go and you read the story of Prophet Ibrahim, Prophet Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam.
Yes, so that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
So in Prophet Yusuf's story, we see two sets of youth. We see Benjamin and Yusuf, and on the other side you see the other brothers of Yusuf who did what they did to him during their youth. Correct? What would you have to say about it?
Again, Prophet Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, also there are some prophets that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken his time to explain the stories of his beloved prophets.
Very much in detail as well.
Yes, so So we also need to take our sweet time and to discuss about Prophet Yusuf, but since we don't have a lot of time, quickly I would like to come to a very important point. You mentioned about Prophet Yusuf and the relation between his brothers and Benjamin or Benjamin. Those parts are very interesting and they need to be addressed, and we need to understand that how, in fact, you get lots of lessons from how the siblings, they need to behave, and what is the relation between father and son, father and children, how the children need to respond to their fathers, how the children are supposed to respect their fathers, how these siblings and these brothers need to have a strong bond between them, what you need to do if you don't have that strong bond within your family. And this is all these are all messages that Quran is conveying to us with the example of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. But again, we need to come to a point where we can relate ourselves.
Yes.
Today in our this progressive, so-called progressive world, there are so many means for our youth to get misguided, and unfortunately the social media or different platforms you see. Now the main important thing today for our youth, if they are listening out there, they need to understand that one important message that Prophet Yusuf delivered was the piety. And you must all have seen those series of the story of Prophet Yusuf. The most important event that took place in Prophet Yusuf's life, he was a very young person when he was brought to the castle, and Zulaykha, and the story, the whole event that was taking place. So what happened exactly over there? Let me read out this ayah for you. Yes. وَلَئِنْ لَمْ يَفْعَلْ, I'll recite the ayah again. وَلَئِنْ لَمْ يَفْعَلْ مَا آمُرُهُ لَيُسْجَنَنَّ وَلَيَكُونًا مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ. That Zulaykha is saying that if you don't submit to my will, I'm going to put you to prison. Okay, and Prophet Yusuf knows that if he does not yield to the demands of what she's been asking, he's going to suffer. Now this is the courage and this is the challenge that our youth today need to understand and need to have faith in, that Prophet Yusuf he stood against his desires, and the whole scenario that Quran, the picture that Quran sketches for us is something where it is very easy for a boy, for a young man to get into haram act. She in fact says وَرَاوَدْتُهُ الَّتِي هُوَ فِي بَيْتِهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ وَغَلَّقَتِ الْأَبْوَابَ وَقَالَتْ هَيْتَ لَكَ, I'm here for you. هَيْتَ لَكَ, I'm here for you. What is stopping you? This is something very important for our youth to understand, boys and girls out there. هَيْتَ لَكَ وَغَلَّقَتِ الْأَبْوَابَ, the doors are closed, you are alone, nobody is looking at you, no hurdles, nothing. No cameras, nobody's watching you. This is exactly what happens, when your parents, they leave your house, they leave you alone you are alone in your house, and it's you and the internet and your system and your phone.
Right.
This is what Quran is saying, that you are alone now, doors are closed, hayta lak. Do whatever you want to do. It's upon you. You learn from Prophet Yusuf. This is very important. Prophet Yusuf, again, you should not say that, he was a prophet and he was, no, those are lame excuses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have never called us to ponder upon these ayats and these verses and to understand and take them and these prophets to be their role models. Why is he asking us? He wouldn't ask us something, which was not fruitful. So we need to understand. Now, Prophet Yusuf, what he does and what he says, قَالَ مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ. Allahu Akbar. This is very important. The moment, I don't want to go into depth of these, it requires a different session.
Yes.
But the moment you are exposed to something which is misleading, right at that moment, that very second, you need to take a strong initiative. And you have to say Ma'ad Allah, like Prophet Yusuf did. Qala Ma'ad Allah. Haytala ghalat al-abwab. Nobody's seeing you. Come. Everything is open. You have to say Ma'ad Allah. I want to return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he says, Walawla. The ayah again goes on and says, and if it was not for the burhan of my God, if it was not the help of my God, I would have gone astray. You have to have faith, those boys and girls out there. You have to have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if you control your desires, if you control those, lustful feelings, surely, definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to help you out. But the first step has to be taken by you. It's you who's going to take the first step, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to push you towards, a safe zone. And you just imagine the whole story, how you see in that series, Prophet Yusuf, the door is locked.
Yeah.
He tries to open the door, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he helps him out, and all the doors are, they are wide open for him. And Prophet Yusuf, he runs out. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps you. And this is how you are going to be guided. And you are saying that, okay, he was the Prophet and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided him. You just try to be something like Yusuf. Then see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide you or not. It's definitely going to help you. When you are taking your first step towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will be insane to say that Allah will not accept me. He's not going to help me. No. It's just a matter of you stretching your hands towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hold me, hold my hand. I'm spreading my hand towards you. This is shafa'at.
Yes.
This is shafa'at. So it's very beautiful, if you go into details and understand what lies there in these stories of the prophets.
So I'm going to take you to another group of youths. This is a very interesting story. Again, very much in detail. Ashab al-Kahf.
Very interesting, yes.
Then it's a very beautiful story. How they probably did the same thing as Janabi Yusuf.
Yeah.
They left their fate in God's hands, and they were going to be killed. But they decided that they want to follow the path of Allah.
Interestingly, the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in fact, those people were calling him Fatan, Prophet Ibrahim, that he was a young boy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran says Fitiyatun, and refers to the Ashab al-Kahf as young men,
Yes.
young boys. And they were also not, they were all around 2018. They were not, old people. They were young boys. They were very interesting again, because we are talking about the prophets, and I don't want to go towards Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam, who is one of the only most important, model for us. But since we are not talking about Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam, but bear in mind that Amir al-Mu'minin at the age of 10, he's standing up and saying, Ana ya Rasulullah, Ana ya Rasulullah. He's showing your commitment, and that you are prepared to help the Holy Prophet and to help in the Prophet's mission is again a very important thing for us to learn from Amir al-Mu'minin. But coming back to Ashab al-Kahf. Now, Ashab al-Kahf, again, as you mentioned very correctly, that Ashab al-Kahf also were young people, and they fought a war, and they said, no, we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we believe we have this ideology. and they were condemned and they were thrown out, and they basically were threatened, and that they would be killed, and they go and seek refuge in a cave, and the whole story is there, and but interestingly, again, after many years, after the long sleep that they had, when they woke up, again, Quran refers to this very interesting moment. Yeah, here in chapter Kahf, verse number 13, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and refers to them as innahum fityatun amanu bi rabbihim wa zidnahum huda. Again, wherever you see people standing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and taking first step towards the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for sure Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides them. Here also, innahum fityatun, they were a group of young people, amanu bi rabbihim, and they had faith in their Lord, wazidnahum hudan, and we increased in their guidance. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if you take the first step towards me, I'm going to help you to connect with me more. You try to gain that proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you will see the magic happening. Yeah. So it's a point. No, important. Now when they woke up from that sleep, and they were hungry, and they were surprised. They were talking to each other that, okay, how long did you sleep? Someone replied a day, someone replied more than a day, and it kept on going. And then they felt they were hungry, and they said, فَبَعَثُوا أَحَدَكُمْ بِوَرَقِكُمْ هَذِهِ إِلَى الْمَدِينَةِ فَلْيَنْظُرْ إِلَيْهَا أَزْكَى طَعَامًا فَلْيَأْتِكُمْ بِرِزْقٍ مِّنْهُ. Very important. Now these young people, they are awake from that long sleep. Ages have passed. The unexpected has happened outside in the Medina, in the city which Quran is referring to. And amongst themselves, they decide, and they send one of them, they give one of them the money, and they say, go get us something to eat, some food. Now when they are asking their companion, their friend, to go out and get some food, there is an advice for that person. They say, فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَيُّهَا أَزْكَى طَعَامًا. Go out there and find the purest of food. You have to go and you have to find out who is selling the most pure food that we can consume. Now this is again very interesting for our youth to understand that these are the people who were in great difficulty, facing life-threatening situation, facing challenges, and when they are waking up from their long sleep, they are worried about, they're feeling hungry. But when they are feeling hungry, they do not, bring an excuse that, oh, we have done so much for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now we can eat anything what we want.
Right.
Those boys out there, they need to understand which restaurant you're going to, what you're eating. The person is advising one of those seven that go out there, find, فَلْيَنْظُرْ, and look. And there is again an ayah which says, فَلْيَنْظُرُ الْإِنسَانِ إِلَى طَعَامِهِ. A person should look what he's eating. So they are saying, فَلْيَنْظُرْ إِلَى أَيُّهَا أَزْكَى طَعَامًا. It's not about whichever has, today we have this habit of asking, okay, I'm new here in your city, in your town, where do they serve the most delicious food?
Yes.
Yeah. Why am I asking you most delicious food? Why am I not asking you where is the most halal food? Where is the most, the purest of food? This is what we are being guided towards. And this is what the youth need to understand. This is what we in fact need to understand. That Islam does not, give you boundaries that you cannot, grow. No. Islam is telling you that there are certain protocols that you need to follow. If there are certain brands today, considering the turn of events now we are experiencing, if Ayatollah Sistani has condemned and has said, if you buy certain products from certain country who is enemy of Islam, It's haram for you to buy those products.
Right.
It's haram for you to consume those products. So you refrain from it. You don't say, oh no, because I'm not going to find a better, more taste and more delicious thing than So what? I don't want to take names, but it's your choice. It's your choice at the end of the day, that whatever is good, whatever you are going through in the most difficult of time and in the most challenging times, that is the time when you are being tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the moment that you have to give your test and you have to pass out with flying ranks. So this is the whole story, and this is the whole picture that Quran, with many more examples, such examples that Quran sets for our youth. But it is up to us, to go and sit down in the presence of the Holy Quran and ask the Quran to guide ourselves. Guide me. And when is it going to happen? It's when you want Quran to guide you, when you open your heart for Quran, when you open yourself for the guidance, for the enlightenment. If you shut your doors and windows and pull your curtains, the sunlight is not going to enter. Sun is out there. You cannot blame the sun. You cannot blame the sun. You cannot blame the Quran. You have to open up. You have to understand. You have to be positive. You have to be confident enough that this book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is for us. It talks to us. There's an interesting, this is my final comment on. One of the scholars used to say that if you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to talk to you, go recite Quran. That is where Allah is talking to you. That is where the Creator, the most excel, is addressing the creation. It's very interesting. And if you want to, talk to your Creator, go pray. Yeah. So these are this is very interesting. When you connect these ibadats and these activities, they start making sense. But you have to distance yourself from these worldly attachments, from this social media, from this so-called smartphones. They are not smart. You call them smart, but they're not smart. You have to be smarter. They are misguiding you. They're misguiding you.
Let's talk about, if you don't mind, let's talk about another youth from the Quran that has been mentioned, the one who slept on the bed of the Prophet during Hijrah, Imam Ali, right? Mm-hmm. And very interesting about Imam Ali himself, that he was so brave. It's not the only time that Imam Ali has done something courageous. We know about Khaybar, Khandaq, Badr, Uhud, Hunayn, all these places. What gave him that courage? In fact, he was still a youth when the Prophet passed away.
So as I mentioned, and I wanted to come to this point also, Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam, at a very young age, he used to visit the Holy Prophet in the cave while he was the Holy Prophet was there. And right from the beginning, now you have gotten me into a very vast chapter where I sometimes cannot control myself. So
a few words.
So I would like to start from the very beginning, where Amir al-Mu'minin is there alongside the Holy Prophet, and he's witnessing the revelation, and he says, Ya Rasulullah, I can smell prophethood. I can smell the fragrance of prophet, and I can feel the brightness, the light of nubuwwah. The Holy Prophet replies and says, Innaka tasma' ma asma' wa tara ma ara. Oh Ali, you can see what I see and you can hear what I hear, and you smell what I smell. And then Amir al-Mu'minin hears out this loud cry and asks the Holy Prophet that Ma hadhihi ranna, Ranna means the loud cry of the Holy Prophet replies that this is the cry of Satan, the devil, and now he is he's lost all hope to misguide mankind, since I'm the last prophet now, and we are going to guide humanity and mankind. So from that very very young age, almost 10 years, maybe 9-10 years, Amir al-Mu'minin is alongside the Holy Prophet. And again, for our youth to understand, now don't say that, oh, he was Amir al-Mu'minin. Yes, of course. Of course, nobody's asking you to, take up a sword and imitate as if you are having a Zulfiqar in your hand. Nobody's asking you that. But at least what you can do is, try to pray something like Salman, Abu Zar. You cannot be Salman and Abu Zar also. But they were not infallibles. But Salman Muhammadi, he elevated himself to a level that Rasulullah says, As-Salmanu minna Ahlul Bayt. This is interesting. Now there is no excuse for you. Salman was not from Bani Hashim. Salman was not, his father was not a prophet, nor an imam.
He was not even an Arab.
No. And he elevated himself in a manner that the Holy Prophet is saying, As-Salmanu minna Ahlul Bayt. Now, and many more, the companions, the right companions. It's important to say the right companions. So the night of migration, where the Holy Prophet migrates from Mecca to Medina, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the Amir al-Mu'mineen, and this is how Allah glorifies Amir al-Mu'mineen. People say, where is Ali in Quran? I mean, you should be blind not to see the presence of Amir al-Mu'mineen in the Quran. Blind from heart, not from the eyes. Allah says that وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِي نَفْسُهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَءُوفٌ بِهِمْ. Who is selling his nafs? What is this trade? What is this thing happening between Allah and Amir al-Mu'mineen? Amir al-Mu'mineen, he's again young. He's again young, and he's sacrificing himself. And there are so many points here that a person can discuss. But he's a young man. He asks the Holy Prophet, when the Holy Prophet says, "Oh Ali, you have to lie on my bed." So the event of Laylatul Mabit is again very interesting, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's asking Amir al-Mu'mineen to lie on his bed, and Amir al-Mu'mineen says, "O Prophet, if I lie down on your bed, in your place, will you be saved? Will your life be safe?" The Holy Prophet says, "Oh Ali, if you lie on my bed, no one else." And there's again this is how Rasulullah is conveying that it should be my nafs, myself, my soul, who is only Ali ibn Abi Talib. Now this is the amount of sacrifice that Amir al-Mu'minin is willing to is willing to go up to this extent to protect the life of the Holy Prophet, to sacrifice for Islam. And very interesting, from where is Amir al-Mu'minin getting all this, all these traits, all these virtues? This is the upbringing of Abu Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. At the event of Shaykh Abi Talib, Abu Talib alayhi salatu wasalam used to shift and used to exchange the beds between Rasulullah and Amir al-Mu'minin, so that if anyone wants to harm Prophet, it would be Ali in place of Prophet, and Abu Talib alayhi salatu wasalam never wanted the Prophet to be harmed. So this was the tarbiyah, and this was the upbringing, the grooming done by Abu Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. And this is what Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam is showing at the end, the Laylatul Mabit, that this is my father who brought me up in this manner, that I am ready to sacrifice myself. And then again, people they doubt the faith of Abu Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. So there are so many things that we can talk about, we can share, we can reflect upon. It is a matter of a single moment in your life any prophet or any imam that you can relate to, that sometimes people have certain beliefs and faiths, and some people they think that they can connect to Imam Ali more easily, or Imam Hussein والسلام, more easily, or Hazrat Abbas والسلام, or Imam Mahdi, any one of them, the prophets or the imams. It is just a matter of that single spark in your life which is going to ignite the fire of guidance, which is going to enlighten your life, it's going to make your life brighter. And inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to the right path, which is the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enlighten our hearts with the teachings and the seerah of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam.
Thank you, Maulana. We've had a very, very nice session, and I really want to thank you, and the rest of the team is very thankful for your attendance.
Thank you for having me.